Daniel Sports Center, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 2 matchup between the Arizona State Sun Devils and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Huge matchup for both these teams coming up here in Week 2. We'll be covering a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with their team trends. Arizona State beat NAU 40-3 in their Week 1 matchup, so a dominant win over Northern Arizona there for ASU, which they very much should have dominated NAU, and so that was a promising way, a good way to start the season for Arizona State. If you look at Oklahoma State on the flip side, they had some trouble against Central Michigan. Well, I mean, Oklahoma State led pretty much the entire game, but in the end, Central Michigan scored 44 points there. So, I mean, they won the game. It was 58-44, which is definitely not a score that you'd expect for a game like that. I mean, you'd probably think Oklahoma State would dominate much more in that game, but in the end, Central Michigan scored 44. So defensively, the Cowboys have got a couple of questions to answer, and this is definitely a chance at redemption for that, because, I mean, this team just, offensively they got it done, scoring 58 points, but obviously, I mean, allowing 44 points to Central Michigan, especially when it's just the first game of the season, that definitely needs to be improved. Both teams 1-0 heading into this matchup, and Oklahoma State is ranked 11th in the Week 2 AP poll. Games will be on Saturday, September 10th in Stillwater, so Cowboys are the home team for this matchup, and it's at 6:30 p.m. Central, so it's a night game. Oklahoma State's the home team. Definitely they've got an advantage with the home field for this matchup. The spread's going Oklahoma State here by 11. So Cowboys are actually favored by a decent amount for this matchup. Over-under is 58. And the FPI is going Oklahoma State 78.9%. So Cowboys are favored in this matchup for sure. A decent amount on both the spread and the FPI. Series history, Arizona State leads at 2-1. They won the last two matchups, and the last game was in 1993. So it's been just about 30 years since we last saw these two teams play each other. Here's your stat comparison for this matchup. These are your stats from last week. So these are your 2022 Week 1 stats here. Arizona State 40 points, 30 points allowed, or 3 points allowed. They got 152 pass yards last week, 267 on rushing. Then for yards allowed, 97 for passing, 23 for rushing. So, I mean, Northern Arizona hardly even got 130, 140 yards on Arizona State in that matchup. So, I mean, they defensively just took care of NAU in that matchup. And, of course, on the rushing side, Xavier Bolade rushed for over 115 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. So he definitely was a key player there. Oklahoma State on the flip side, 58 points, 44 allowed. They had 406 pass yards, 125 for rushing. And then for yards allowed, 424 for passing, 122 for rushing. Oklahoma State last week to Central Michigan allowed 424 passing yards. So, I mean, yeah, this passing defense, they just got shredded there in the passing category. That's how Central Michigan was able to hang around in that game and score 44 points. I mean, if you look at total yardage here, they had almost 550 total yards of offense against Oklahoma State, which is obviously something that needs to be improved, especially when Oklahoma State is starting to go up against some good opponents when you're playing OU later on or even Baylor. I mean, some of those good teams in the Big 12, I mean, your defense is going to have to be much better than that. Here's some key points for this one. Both teams 1-0, of course. Of course, you got Arizona State coming off of a dominant win against NAU. Once again, I get that it's Northern Arizona. I mean, it's hard to base a team off an FCS win, but in the end, they did look impressive in that game. So Xavier Bolade, he's going to have a huge impact here, the running back for this team. He put up 116 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. And, of course, you got Emory Jones at the quarterback position, the Florida transfer quarterback, who was 13 for 18, 152 yards when he played. So we'll see a whole lot more of him in this matchup, I'd assume, in Emory Jones. And this game here is going to tell a lot about Arizona State. This is a team that is definitely younger this season. They've got lower expectations because of that. And also, I mean, the amount of players that they lost in the transfer portal this past offseason. So, I mean, Arizona State, their expectations are low for this team. So it's a chance for the Sun Devils to prove a whole lot of analysts and a whole lot of people wrong. And, this is the chance to do it, going on the road against the 11th ranked team in the country here in Oklahoma State. I mean, it's a tough place to play at times, but, for Arizona State, this is a huge opportunity for them. Oklahoma State, they won a high-scoring shootout, obviously, against CMU. Defensively, they got to be better if they want to reach a high level. I think Oklahoma State is very much capable of being in contention for the college football playoff this season, and most definitely for a Big 12 title. The Big 12 is wide open this season. I mean, there are 4 teams, I think, that could win the Big 12 title, and Oklahoma State is definitely one of them. And so, I mean, for the Cowboys here, defensively, allowing 44 points. Once again, that's a key point here, is that this defense just allowed a lot of yards, a lot of points in that game against Central Michigan, and that's not what you want to see. So Oklahoma State defensively, they got to be better if they want to reach a high level in this season, which, once again, I think this team is extremely capable of doing so. This is a team that I think could be a college football playoff dark horse, but, I mean, once again, defense, they got to be better. Offensively, they look promising. They should be good on offense this season for sure. I like Spencer Sanders. I mean, if you look at his stats in that game, 20 for 41, 406 yards, and 4 touchdowns, almost as good as you can get. So, Spencer Sanders, really looking forward to watching him in this game too. But that said, let's get to the prediction here for Arizona State and Oklahoma State. Matchup coming up here in week 2. I'm going Oklahoma State here, 38-24. I do think we see more of a higher scoring matchup here once again. I mean, for Oklahoma State, especially if the Cowboys win, I do think we see more of a higher scoring game here, considering Arizona State also scored 40 last week. But in the end, Oklahoma State, they're just simply the better team. I think Arizona State, this is a team that is, once again, they're younger. There's a lot of changes on this team over the course of the offseason, and I mean, this team is very much different from the 2021 season. So, I mean, things are very different. I think Arizona State here, it's going to be tough for a team to come together like them, a younger team like them, and go on the road and beat Oklahoma State, especially against a Cowboys team that I see tremendous potential in, and they've got a lot of talent. So I'm going to say 65% towards Oklahoma State, so I'm pretty comfortable picking Oklahoma State in this one. This would be a massive win, though, for Arizona State if they can pull it off here. This could be this could be a sign for a great season here, a surprisingly great season for that matter. If Arizona State can win this matchup, that could give them some great momentum heading into week 3 and the rest of the season. So, but in the end, I just don't see that happening. I think Oklahoma State, once again, simply the better team. I'm confident in picking them here. I will take the over for this matchup, especially if you're picking Oklahoma State to win. I do think we see the over hit, and I do pick Oklahoma State to cover the spread as well, even though the spread is pretty tricky for this one. It's 11 points towards Oklahoma State. I've got the Cowboys winning by a couple of touchdowns, I think, in a night game, and this offense, I do think they are able to score high 30, low 40 for points, and in the end, Arizona State scores in the 20s somewhere, which I do think Oklahoma State covers in the end, and I definitely think we'll see the over as well. But yeah, 38-24 is my predicted final score. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.